We're going to kick off a little bit early the new bird camera. Well, that went all fucking Tron on me. I have a number of spare cameras that sit here in a drawer in case one of the UFO cameras break. These ones come out as a replacement. For instance, the one that was supposed to go on the mast fell off the table and cracked its head open. It's not waterproof anymore. So that one's not watching the driveway. It's fucked up. I had an extra one, so I put it on these birds. And we hear a lot of bird songs, and it keeps our cats busy, waiting for them to screw up.
Red alert!
Yeah, it's Friday. This is the 4K Skywatching podcast. I'm Tom King. I'm your host. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. This is a podcast unlike any other place that you will see on the internet. Here is where stuff goes down live. This is real research. This is groundbreaking research. This is where shit happens. This is where the news comes out. This is where you get your feet wet. You can get some education on what's going on in ufology. Plus, some of the best gear that you can use as far as skywatching without really regarding how much stuff costs or much of a budget. I'm not a wealthy person. I don't have a Lamborghini or anything like that, but what I do have is a hell of a good communication with whatever's going on up there. I got great gear. I know what I'm doing, and my talents are almost endless. If you've been watching this podcast, and I hope you have, if you haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, or complain, bitch, I don't give a shit. Um, but you have seen the trials and tribulations that I've been going through the last 2.5, 3 months of basically just getting my feet wet and jumping straight into radar without thinking about it first. And then thinking about it after the fact, going, holy shit, I'm really committed into something here. And that commitment is paid off. The mast is operational, I can tell you that. As far as the radar, that's a whole nother story. We're going to get into how all this works tonight. And some great news. So that's working. So I got that new camera up. Showed you a little bit of that bird camera. It's a leftover camera. And I got the trail camera working. And it does not need a phone. This is great because you can hook this up to Windows and then you can remotely watch any place that you want as long as it gets some type of 4K cellular communication. The end goal for this is to figure out how to get the best weatherproof system with the bang for the buck, so we can deploy this at Guadalupe Island and at Catalina Island to watch USO activity. So I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of that. Last week, I got into a dome camera that ended up returning. I ended up getting a replacement camera. Um, you get what you pay for. So if you buy cheap, you get cheap. If you buy expensive, you should get something a little bit more expensive. So I just this morning got this camera running. This camera was basically sitting aside while I worked as much as I could afterward getting this damn radar thing up and running. So there's going to be some rants tonight. I got at least about 18, maybe 30 minutes worth of various different footage to show, and we're going to do a walkthrough on these different cameras. So there's a lot going on in ufology. There's a lot of so much to go on. This is probably one of the greatest years to be in this. What is happening is so much news is spilling out that in the past we'd be thrilled to hear any one of these different stories. Now there's multiple stories weaving out at the same time. There's almost whistleblower palooza going on. We've heard about these dozens of whistleblowers that are waiting to come out, and some of them are actually coming out now. So it's cool. It's the ontological shock isn't really happening because this is going on at a kind of a step-by-step pace that we're not really too shocked. Maybe people who don't follow ufology might be a little bit shocked to see some of this, but those of you that have been watching, you know that you know what's going on. I am going to be in Tucson tomorrow at the library, so if you want to meet up, I'm going to be at the Nick Pope is speaking for MUFON from 12 to 2, so I'm going to be down there with coffee and some donuts. So if you want to meet, and Mr. Bubble, I think you're down there, and it's $15 at the door, so it'll be a fun get together before I forget. So yeah, radar construction is pretty much all complete. Um, God damn, that was expensive and somewhat backbreaking. So we're going to get into the construction of that. Uh, so yeah, I'm Tom King, and I am a Skywatcher. I'm also a ufologist, a droid builder. I build these wonderful full-size animatronic, or they're yeah, some of the animatronic, but they work. They're radio controlled, and they just like what you see in the movies. And my pronouns are badass motherfucker. So um, good news: the mast is running, and this is the remote camera looking at it. So this is a real link camera. We'll get into that, but it is running. It looks like it went into sleep mode because I don't see the timer um, timing on. So it's going into sleep mode. I'm going to wake it up. It should connect to 4G. Oops, device went down. Let's try to reconnect there. While that's going on, we got a lot of other stuff happening here. Let's take a look at what's pulling up on the NVR. Um, so we have four, four NVRs running now. I had three and I had a spare, and now we got four. So this is the thermal one with the thermal cameras, and there is what it looks like when it's looking at the uh, the mast with the radar on it. So this was a long time, 2 to 3 month operation to get this working. I never had a doubt at all that this would not work. I knew that this mast is going to work if I can get it in position. So what we have here is we have the mast, and then on top of it is an aluminum plate. On top of that is a Pelco pan and tilt, and then on top of that's another plate with a 4K camera upside down but fixed up with uh, marine radar on top of it, and so I can turn this. So the idea here, well, I'll get kind of deeper into that, but the idea here is I wanted the pan and tilt mainly to go up and down so I could tilt the radar. Um, but I threw the camera at the last minute so I can have radar vision of it. And now that I kind of like it. Now that I'm getting used to it. So that's just one of the NVRs. Switching over to NVR number two. Uh, this is another one with a different mouse. So this is the one with the 4K dome on it. And now the mask, when it's up and deployed, is going to show up on some of the different cameras. The all sky camera is going to pick it up. Um, and the south camera's got a little bit of it. So that's a new tool in the arsenal um, of all the stuff that I have. So much stuff. My wife is like, Tom, you got to use this stuff. You got to, well, I'm done building. Yeah, most of the radar shit is done. Now, there's a little bit of work that's interior to do it. This was very, very interesting doing this because I was working around the weather. But hey, let's just do a quick intro. Cyberlink, Cyber Tesla computer was in here first. Truth Seeker, thanks for coming back, and you posted that on Twitter. I was about to post it, but you beat me to it. Thanks for posting. Mr. Tubes here. Yeah, you got the notification. Uh, uh, the UFO podcast with Martin Wells. Great, great man. I didn't get all of his notifications. Sometimes when you subscribe to a channel, you don't get everything. Uh, you got to go to the subscribe and hit, I think, all, and then that gives you all the different things that a person could do. So um, go to a MUFON meeting. Well, yeah, and give MUFON $15. Hey, Tucson, MUFON has always been cool. I've never had a problem with those people. So yeah, and MUFON's a lot better. If you're going to see a speaker, you want to see a speaker, $15. You see the speaker. Now, if you go to Rip Off in the Desert, that's $1,000 to see the same speaker is like $45 individually or $50. And all the stuff that that you can see a speaker see. I mean, they're not gonna like George Knapp. He's at Contact in the Desert, right? George Knapp is probably not saving like UFO loaves of bread that he's gonna bring and then just doyle out at Contact in the Desert. He isn't saving for Weaponized. All the good shit's coming on Weaponized or TV show. He's going to kind of give you an overview of all that stuff. There's a George Knapp interview on my channel for members only. Check that out. It's 4K from MUFON in Phoenix. Wasn't supposed to be taping it, but hey, it was a George Knapp bootleg. Fuck it. Uh, no, don't be an asshole. You can always be an asshole at other times when it's appropriate to be an asshole. Hey, Hubert, what's up? Hey, you helped me a little bit get that pan and tilt working. Those things are problematic because they're analog. So it is working. And I got a view of that. Sure, the neighbors won't like it, but hey, if you don't like it, move into a place with the homeowners association, right? Move on down there is cool. So anyway, um, let's dig in. So we have um, that camera number NVR number 2, and we have NVR number 3 here, which has a bird camera. Uh, Let me switch over to this guy. All right, so on this one, we have a bird feeder camera. This shows a little bit of the mass. All this concrete wasn't here 2 weeks ago, so we poured this entire concrete pad where the compressor is and all that stuff. I'm going to build a shed later, but I'm not going to do it once 100. There's another view of the mast. And let me tell you, this thing is fucking scary. I mean, it's scary to deal with. It's intimidating. All right, first of all, let's get to the other NVR4 before we get into the story. All right, so this is NVR4. This is radar view. This is what the radar sees. And this is on that Pelco pan and tilt. So I can move her down. I can move her right and left. And it's not up all the way. It still has, I think, 3 more sections. So if I leave it at an angle like this, I can get really good time lapse of the sun going up and down. I also have, as if you can see, pretty much a view over here of, this is the South Australis. So if there's military flares going off, they would go off in this area. This is South Mountain here. And this pine tree here has a disease in it. I told the homeowner's currently serving time in prison for various charges. This tree is going to die. We had a pine tree like this in our yard, and it got a disease and it died. That disease jumps from tree to tree to tree to tree. It's on this tree now. It cost us $3,000 to have that pine tree cut down and removed. So once this is removed, I'll have a view of pretty much that entire area. But I can go higher. I could probably go higher and go higher than what this what this tree is. I want to go higher than the tree so the radar is as a clearing, and there isn't things blocking that. Here's a view from the UFOdap, one of the UFOdap cameras. This is the one looking straight up. So this is kind of almost, I guess, now in its way. And in case something flies by, got spy radar operating over there. I have radio frequencies I need to get all figured out. And I have the radar here. Now, when the antenna is plugged into the radar screen, this is the radar screen, it's automatically detected by the screen that radar is here because now I have options to all the hidden little screens inside the radar, which I didn't have before. Where it says X emit off, I simply hit a button and the radar will start turning. So yeah, that's up and there. That's it's nice to see the light at the end of this tunnel. So anyway, building this um, was a lot of good karma added up, and the people in Arizona can, or at least Phoenix area, can attest to this. I was doing the concrete pours on the weekends for the sections, and there were 3 sections that we did. So it was typically around 90, 95 at this time of year throughout the week. But for some reason on the weekends, the low pressure system was coming into the valley and it was cooling us down to about 70 degrees to 75 degrees with clouds. So it was like San Diego weather. So it was really great to have to open up 50 bags of Quikrete, they're 60 pounds each, and dump them in a mixer and then dump them on the ground versus doing this right now where it's over 100. Your setup time for the concrete goes a lot faster because concrete's, sucking the water out of the concrete to dry. So every weekend, so the next weekend, 70 degrees. And I'm like, shit, this is meant to be. So we wrapped up with the final pour last Sunday. So all that exterior work is done. And then I had the mounting and the leveling. So what I ended up doing to get that radar into position was weld it in there with the engine mast. Then I manually pulled out the first two and locked it. So there's locks on there where they lock into place. And that there's 7 sections of these tubes. It weighs 420 pounds, so you kind of do the math that each section is about 40 or 50 pounds, and these are aluminum tubes. So when we pulled that one section out, that pulled about 40 pounds off of it. So then me and a friend basically just picked up the end and just walked it up. Like that flag where those 4 or 5 guys walked up that flag in Iwo Jima, something like that. So we just kind of walked up the pole, boom, it was up. Then it had to be leveled a little bit. It was pretty much leveled a little bit because of the concrete, but I had to bolt it in and level it as good as you can because you don't want that thing up there and swing it around. Uh, what is good about it is here's the camera from the radar. It's up approximately right now about 30 feet, and it has about 3 more sections to go up that are about 8 feet per section. It says it can go up 42 feet. But look how steady it is. There's not really any wind right now, not much, but it's dead solid. So this is gonna make a great skywatching camera. Yes, the bottom. So the concrete slab is 8 inches thick, and then so the I used treated wood, and I basically made kind of my own glue lamp, and I 8 inches down, and then 3 feet down into the dirt. The whole thing goes. So the beam is in the concrete going down 4 foot. So at the bottom is an aluminum plate that bolted onto the bottom of the mast, and then I bought a hammer drill and drilled down 7 inches into that, and then put some bolts down there. So it's 4 bolts. I'll show you here in a second. If I tried flying a drone in front of it, no, I have one of those old school DJI drones from like 2014. They're probably not legal anymore because you probably need a transmitter. I am thinking with all the rules of drones, you can't do jack shit with them anymore. Let's get into the making of this mast before we get into the trail camera and the whistleblower palooza and the news. All right, so with the making of this, get into this.
Here I need to build the actual payload that's going to go on the mast. So this plate here represents the plate that's on the radar antenna. This is going to be the pan and tilt, and one plate, this plate, we'll use for the bottom that'll go on the mast. The pan and tilt will go under here, like that. And then this represents the plate that'll go above it. It'll be the radar. But then under here, I'm going to put a camera on here. So this camera will be bolted under there. So when this pan and tilts and moves around with the radar, I'll have something to at least see where the radar is pointing visually. With the snap of the fingers, that plate work is done. So here's what I have. The radar dome sits bolted to this pan and tilt plate. It has a camera on it, so wherever the radar is pointing, I can see. This here will go on the top of the mast. This is, I don't know, I'm trying to waterproof these leftover connections. I don't know, I put too much goddamn caulk on there, so I gotta try something else. But this wife came up with this pill bottle idea. I just got some bad adhesive, but I'll fix that. This is another area. I don't know what this is for, but I put caulk over there to keep the shit up. This is actually where the pan and tilt hooks up. We have a camera cable, so I have 4 cables going up, plus 2 for the Garmin, a power and the data, 1 data for the camera, and 1 for the pan and tilt. So it's been months in the making, so let's put this bad boy up and test it.
Thanks for calling. All right. Looks like Tom needs to read the fucking comments since I was muted. Damn it. Oh well. Well, we'll do a rewind. Lightning strikes. It's not that damn high for lightning strikes. Thanks for calling in. Okay. So anyway, rewind here. Um, we're going over some mass photos, so just check it up on here. I just got to stop hitting that fucking mute button from now on. Problem solved. So anyway, we will continue on with this. Okay, so there is how it is bolted through the beam. It's I kind of overdid the construction of it. I think I'd rather overdo it than underdo it. So here shows four of these U-loops that go around the mast and they hold it to the beam. And this is it when it's retracted. So it's going to be, I think, fine as long as I just use it with some common sense, which sometimes I run out of. So there's one section up. Um, see, that's about as high as we have it right now. But that was before I put the dome on it. Yeah, just looking up at this, thinking, well, it's going to go up higher and higher and higher. It just, there was one of the days when we just moved it into position before I got all the paint on it. And yeah, one of the reasons I don't have it up all the way is that white stuff that goes down, that is holding together four wires. It's holding a RJ45, a power for the radar antenna, the data from the radar antenna, and one for the pan and tilt control system. So I'm waiting for Amazon to drop off more of that white material that just kind of snakes around it. So that's some of the construction photos. Now, before I even got the thing up in the air, I was outside going, oh, I need some photos for the podcast. And this happens.
Hey, look who came to check this out. Okay, Skywatching. I've never seen one fly over, not directly over the house. I haven't even turned it on.
So right after that helicopter goes over, another one comes over, and I think that's Coast Guard. I'm not sure. Never did look these up on the ADSB, but that one flies over, and I'm like, what in the hell? It's probably a coincidence, but you're out there doing this, and the military flies up. I didn't have the radar on or nothing, but or even up. I was just taking some photos, getting ready, and yeah, shit, military flies over. But yeah, that thing is freaking solid. Yeah, good. Yeah, you do not want to underbuild this because if that falls over, you know what? I need to move my truck. My truck is directly in the path that's falling over, so I need to move that because you never know. But hey, marine radar is what the Tedesco brothers do, and they've tracked airplanes on it. So you can at least do that. Now, how? I don't know. I don't know yet. And that's where you got to get out your ruler and measure it. So let's look at this a bit more. So here's the radar view. So what I'm going to do is a little bit of turning here. So if I turn this like this, and then what I'll do is I'll let me queue up a different camera and give you a look. There are some things I didn't really realize until I actually built it. And there's stuff that you never realize that you can't foresee. So here's a 2K dome camera. And what's great is this doesn't have autofocus, so that way I don't have problems. Now, okay, so here's one of the problems. I've adjusted the limit switches on this, so it can't. It, this will not rotate 360 degrees, 355, and then it has a stop. Now, let me show you one thing I realized. I'm going to do some rotation, so watch what happens. So when I rotate this, you see that white snake's coming around, and it's going to hit. It's got to hit that corner, and now watch. It's got to go up and over. Okay. See, I think you just saw what I'm seeing now. So when I anticipated this, and I built just the square thing, and I round the corners, so they don't stab nobody, but they're not really rounded. So I think what needs to be done, they need to take the top part off because the whole thing comes off as one. And I need to basically round that entire bottom plate. So when I do rotation with it, uh, none of the wires get caught up. Does that make sense? So I didn't really think, fuck, you just want it to work, right? So then what works? And you're like, yeah, it works, yeah, it works. Now what? But um, now I need to fix that. So I need to take it off and get that rotation fixed. Grounding rod. And you guys are scaring me with grounding rod. All right, Cuba, don't rain here. This is Phoenix. The 300 something days a year clear sky. If lightning strike on this thing, doubtful. Possible, but doubtful. Uh, so yeah, I need to round. I need to do something with that rounding part down there. And yeah, let's now. While I was watching this yesterday about this time, I came across this. So check this out. All right, so you're going to want to look over the palm tree to your right for a white object. I was sitting here doing something, and I had this camera on it yesterday, and let's see, this object, I'll tell you, it's going to come out here in a second. I should have cut this down a little bit. Let's see if you guys see it. It just happened to catch my eye. And the Tedesco brothers say that when they use radar, they get more UAPs than when they don't have it on. Okay, you see it coming to the right, and it's a white tic tac looking thing heading towards the radar. So I saw that and thought, oh, what do we got here? Um, so I grabbed the camera controls, which is the mouse, and said, hey, let's go zoom in and get, do we have our first thing? It flew right behind the radar. So let's what do we got here? About at that point, I'm like, okay, do we have a UFO or do we just have a regular object? So from there, as zoomed around, I didn't collect any more information on what that was. Uh, I think that was probably a small aircraft heading from south to north. That's what I'm thinking. If it doesn't do anything strange, then I'm defaulting to mundane every time. Every time. I don't start with UFOs and work backwards. Uh, I know people like that. I don't work like mundane and work forward. I don't know what that was. It was probably just a plane. Um, that's my best guess on what that thing was. Moving into the other NVR. Same thing when I noticed I got to do something with that pill box. I think I don't know, paint it and then JB weld the thing onto the side so it doesn't come off. But that's probably all I got to do with that. If I look at let's see what that current view looks like from this, because this will get some nice sunrise videos too. So this isn't even up all the way, and um, it's got it's almost the size of the palm tree. So I'm thinking this, this tree might be in the view. Um, so if we go down here to the radar. So here is the radar screen. I hit this button here, it'll begin running sweeps. So, God, so now I got to learn how all this stuff works. So there's two individual rings here. There's range A and range B. Uh, One of them, I think on the left, what we're looking at is Doppler radar. And it's overlaid on the image on the right. So I can zoom out. And as you zoom out, see the ring will change from mileage. So that's a whole nother thing to learn. How does this all work? Um, at this point, the next step is take photo of it and finish the FCC licensing and send that in, and get permission from the FCC to use this as experimental radar. We'll see what happens. So it's like 170 bucks, and then they either approve you or not, and then I'll start using it. But I don't know how exactly I'm going to run this. What I plan to do is to channel that radar screen you saw into OBS, and then OBS will be used as an NVR system that'll just record it into like 15-minute files or 2 gig files or something like that. So then when I'm actually skywatching and I find something, I'll have that as a backup. So did any UFO that shows up visually show up on that? That'll be just another sensor to use. Now, I know a lot of people who buy cameras and stuff. Shout out to David Hooper. Saw him at, there was a video of him at the UAP Hackathon. That thing, I might go to that if they do that next year. That didn't look like it cost you an arm and a leg to go to. Dave showed his gear, and almost match by match with what I have. He's got like the all sky camera, he's got a dome camera, it looks like he's got UFOlab, he's got his own pan and tilt little beast system that he's built. He has a P1000 that's been modified to shoot in infrared mode. I think he had another camera. Oh, he had a Panasonic GH6. So it's like, damn, he went and picked almost every camera I did. So we have a lot of the same overlapping gear. So it's good that he's out there with it. There's a lot of people doing what I'm doing. This is getting normalized to a point that this isn't just a few people doing this. This is a lot of people doing this. So we're going to have citizen scientists doing our own individual data collection that has nothing to do with the U.S. government coming in and telling us what to do with it or to confiscate it. None of that. We all fund this ourselves. And I wish there was some type of funding or grant that we can get. Maybe somewhere out there is a good billionaire that's hoarding his 1,000 millions that could peel off a few bucks and say, hey, I like what you're doing. Here's some money to hire some staff, or here's money to do it full time, something like that without strings attached. So far, the only good billionaire that does this is Brandon Frugal with his own property that he owns. And then we have people like tech bro Peter Thiel. He's the last motherfucker that should get his hands on any of this stuff. That dude's just straight up bad news. But there's people out there doing this. I know of people who go out there and they buy all this stuff. It sits in a box. It sits like one guy. There's this guy named Tim Senior. He tried to buy his way into ufology. He went and bought all this shit and took us out on a Skywatch. Basically, he starved everybody to death because he took us into a location where the participants didn't have vehicles to leave. They didn't have a place to call a phone, to call their loved ones to check in that, hey, I'm still alive. You're basically stranded in the middle of northern Utah with no phone and absolutely no food. A mutiny happened on that expedition. It went to shit real fast because he's a millionaire that's cheap, but he bought all this gear and he doesn't fucking use it. He says that he had a production company. His IMDb is empty. If you think he'd have an IMDb full of productions, nothing. So be careful with some of this stuff. There's guys out there that buy this stuff and they think if they buy it that they bought some clout. You have to use this goddamn gear to get something. Data collection is the hardest part with UAPs is finding them. I'm still not sold on the psionic stuff. Some of the things I've been reading, it's more they're admitting it's channeling, right? That's why I said from the beginning, it's channeling. What's the difference between this and channeling? The words. They're just different labels. This is rebadged channeling. So again, I think Jake's wasting his time if he's trying to skywatch to get this stuff. Why don't he just come out and tell us? I mean, he's one of the whistleblowers that had first on stuff inside this program. All these other guys, they talk about stuff, but he actually had first-hand knowledge. He's doing the Abbey Loeb mistake of saying, I'm going to get my own data. I don't need other people's stuff. I'll get my own. Well, it's probably Abbey Loeb, after 2 years, 3 years of data collection with his own skywatching system, come up empty-handed, no UAPs. Guess they're not flying around Harvard. Same thing with Jake. He's getting some stuff, but why don't he just come out and say, here's what was on those hard drive tuck books, right? Who was your employer? What was his name? Where did you drop off the egg in the octagon to? How many times have you done this? Who are the other people that you know on the ground? You know, they work for the same company, right? Apparently, Danny Sheehan said it was Lockheed. So is Lockheed right now saying on the last podcast that Lockheed and all these companies, they have their facilities in cities. So there's UFOs that are in the hundreds, apparently, that have been recovered or in big towns like Phoenix, Las Vegas. These aren't sitting out in the middle of the fucking desert, right? In Maricopa or someplace. There's no Lockheed building out there in the middle of nowhere. If it was, it'd be heavily guarded and found out. So these facilities where they keep these UFOs are probably in Burbank, Las Vegas, Phoenix, the Southwest, they're going to be, New Mexico, and Albuquerque. That's probably where the shit is. He can just tell us there. He already knows the insider game. He said he was the boogeyman. So what does that mean? He went around killing whistleblowers? I don't know, man. I want to see some stuff come clean because most of the time in the UFO field, when some big news comes out, if you're a poker player, you bet on bullshit. That 98% of the time it's going to fall apart into bullshit. And rarely does it last very long in the bullshit. House card fall through. Insurance cover that? Well, I hope we never need that insurance. Yeah, the Tedesco brothers have one radar pointed up and one radar pointed down, and they come up with how they can find out how fast these are going. I mean, what else is there? There's marine radar. Where is regular radar that you can buy? I don't know. I don't know where the hell you would have to go to the manufacturer of that. It's probably into the millions of dollars. Again, you're going to need FCC license. I don't know. I don't see how marine radar could interfere at all with, say, Sky Harbor Airport, because all those boats around Miami don't mess up Miami's airport, and the whole place is surrounded by tens of thousands of boats with marine radar. Yeah, you love Tim, but don't you go on an expedition with that guy. He'll starve you skinny. How do you think I got this skinny? I went on an expedition with Tim. I was fat. I was fat when I showed up, skinny when I left. You know, he's driving a Lamborghini now. Lamborghini. So anyway, that's a little bit into that. Now I'm going to try and find out what is going on with this device. So let's go into next part here. Trail cams. Uh, got this new trail cam here, the Real Link. Now I did a little bit of research before um, I got this. Real Link is one of the top brand name type of trail cameras out there. Um, Most of them use phones, and I don't want to have the phone tied up. I need the phone for other stuff like calling people and taking pictures. So I wanted one that came with a app, and that is this Real Link. So let's look at this. Uh, right now, the device apparently has a battery. Um, if there's any playback, I haven't done any recording yet. Now, one thing about these is it's trying to do a connection here. One thing that you can get with these is you can control it here. I can control this whole thing. I can bring it into OBS. I could use this on 4K Skywatching as long as the connection's there. I think it went into sleep mode. I haven't messed with this much. I've been messing with the radar, pretty much getting this construction. This was secondary. Right now, I'm going through the trials and tribulations with this camera, which means it's got to sit outside, and I got to make sure that it wakes up. It's currently not waking up. The idea is when you take this and you deploy it somewhere, that you don't have to babysit this thing. Because then what? You got to go drive to this thing and, push some buttons or power it on or whatnot. So this thing has to be pretty reliable. What I found so far from the two of them is they like to go into sleep mode to save power. Uh, some of these devices are somewhat cheap, but they're going to really ring you on data charges. Now I've talked with Cox. Cox is who I have my internet and my phone bill through. And I talked to them about do they have a SIM card that could activate this? Because Cox has a deal where, and I'm not doing a commercial for them, can't stand them at all, just like any other SP. But for $50, you have unlimited data. So my plan was to get a Cox SIM into this thing so I can have unlimited data. Because that's where you're going to get ringed on all of these trail cameras is on your data. A lot of them have borderline scams where they'll say, "Hey, this solar panel can charge this camera in a very limited amount of time." Now, what they're not telling you is, yeah, yes and no. It can do this, but these devices are going to go into sleep mode to save battery. That's what came up with this thing. Is it said, "Hey, you're using a lot of battery power. Should we go into sleep mode or not?" So this thing's in the sleep mode. I probably have to turn it on, turn it back off, on, or something like that to reboot it. So there's that thing. And then there's your data. Now, a 4K camera system like this can go through data really, really fast. Real has two different things on their website for this. So it's great they have the app, and they're probably maybe one of the few that do. There's two components that you can use for this. They have a cloud, and they have cellular. Now, their cloud is pretty cheap, but that's for local stuff. That's for do you want to set this up to monitor your property and use Wi-Fi or connect it to your LAN? That's not what I need this for. I don't need a camera here. I have plenty of cameras here. I need this camera to go very far away and to watch stuff. So that is where the cell comes in. And Real has their own cell thing where I think it's like it can go like 40 or 50, 60, $70 for like the plans that I would need because I need to watch this all the time if I'm going to use UFOdap. Another one is the PIR, and that's where it's going to automatically detect motion, and then it will send you that. That's probably maybe what I will end up doing because we got a couple 3 weeks left to send this back to Amazon or to keep it. So if I end up getting mobile, then it's probably going to be kept. This thing went from 240 for what I bought it up to 270 for prices. It might even go up more with whatever's going to go on with this Terraform. So keep in mind, you get what you pay for with these trail cameras. Again, you're not going to get by with something cheap. You're going to get throwaway product. But you also don't want to go buy, something that costs like as much as an Xbox and leave it on the tree, and then someone comes and takes it, right? So there's considerations to do here. So I'm going to be working with this in the next 2 to 3 weeks to try and see how this works. Now, the cheapest place that I found is, I haven't used them yet, is Mint Mobile apparently will work with the SIM card on here. And then with Mint Mobile, this is the cheapest one I found, is for $40 a month you can get unlimited, which means 40 gig of data. This should be enough to run in PIR mode or something like that. So I'm probably going to go get a Mint Mobile SIM from Amazon, stick that into the thing, and try and get it running from there. It could end up piece of shit. It could end up just a uh, big brick thing. We'll find out. I mean, we'll find out here as time goes on. Now they don't have to spend all my time doing freaking construction work on this radar. So I got some clips here. Yeah, Lamborghini, and not the good one. He got a shitty Lamborghini. It's so shitty that if you saw a picture of it, you wouldn't even know it's a Lamborghini. You would say, "Is that a Porsche?" Which is, well, Porsche is a more reliable car than a Lamborghini. A Lamborghini, those cars at most you're going to see high miles, 8,000 on one. High miles on a Porsche, it's about 250,000. That's when the engine. My Porsche is I think 57,000 miles on it, something like that. It's 85. It's worth 3 times what I paid for it. But it's not a super expensive one. So let's move on a bit here to Whistleblower Palooza. And so Jeremy Corbell said about a year ago that there's these whistleblowers, and and this was when Sean Kirkpatrick was with Arrow. Well, I need to fix the correction. In the last podcast, I was referring to Eric Weinstein. I got my Erics messed up. That was Eric Davis. Both these Erics are smart. Anyway, so whistleblowers. So Jeremy was saying we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Either you pass a law so these guys can come forward and tell their story, or they're just going to tell it anyway. Well, that was a bluff. In other words, a lie, bullshit. There was no, the 30 whistleblowers are coming forward. Now, we do have this Matt Brown. Yeah, I'm behind on the chat. We have Matt Brown. Matt came forward. And I'm sure a lot of people here saw what he had to say. And what he had to say so far was he saw some stuff. Me and my wife were watching episode 2 of Weaponized with Matthew Brown. And the first one was George and Jeremy saying, so we're going to be asking, we're going to get into, and we're going to have a lot of, we're going to be talking about this, we're going to be talking about that. We all decided, like, great, what are they going to talk about? So there's episode 2. And he didn't say shit. He danced around classified material with the best of them, like Lou. Basically, a summation of 1 hour of Weaponized 2 was Matthew saying, So I looked at this folder and I found these files. They weren't supposed to be there. So I'm doing my training, and I alerted my supervisor. That's what I was trained to do. And he looked at some stuff, and this was some UFO stuff. And he looked at it. He said, "We didn't see this stuff. Delete it." That was it. That was it. That's pretty much it. Um, he didn't get into any more stuff. I learned absolutely nothing new that I don't already know about the UFO program. And I'm thinking that goes for uh, my grandma. If my grandma was alive and I showed her, she wouldn't have learned nothing new either. There was nothing new to learn on episode 2, and I'm guessing episode 3 will be more of the same. Uh, they're making bank off the engagement and the views and whatnot off that. There'll be some nice AdSense checks coming in on the 26th for Jeremy on this, but we're not learning any new thing from this whistleblower at all. He's not apparently. I mean, we have the Immaculate Constellation document, but what else? No. So he told us about a couple of different times the submarine saw some triangles over some Russian ships, and the Russians weren't really phased. Okay. Do we have video? No. Photos? No, nothing. Just more stories. So this was a 1 hour of Trust Me, Bro. That was it. You know what? I'm fucking sick of Trust Me, Bro. And the people I know, they're fucking sick of Trust Me, Bro. You know what Trust Me, Bro was? That's pre pandemic. That's so 2009. You can't go into 2025 with Trust Me, Bro anymore. Because if Matt Brown doesn't have any more than Trust Me, Bro, then you done fucked up, and you should have kept your job at the Pentagon and collected that nice, sweet pension at 20 years. Because you walked out with, I guess, the ball really didn't go any further down the field with Trust Me, Bro. Not at all. So, episode 3, Trust Me, Bro, the trilogy. And maybe we can get a Trust Me, Bro prequel of what he did before he got there. Now, what it looks like is these people that were in the ATIP and OSAP and in these programs kind of looked at this, and Lou kind of said, the boomer generation covered this up. Now the millennials, they're a whole different breed of people. And they come in going, hey, you know what? Fuck it. Let's tell what's going on here. But you got the boomers going, nah, man, I'm gonna keep my pension and I'm not gonna rock the boat. And Lou's the one who came out and said that. And speaking to Lou, he's taken flack still from all directions from shitting the bed on that hearing that happened last week. Uh, I've been reading all sides of this. We wouldn't have had that hearing if it wasn't for Lou, first of all. If it wasn't for him and Chris Mellon and Tom DeLonge and these people that pushed this forward, we wouldn't have had that meeting. All right. We didn't get this meeting because the FOIA guy from the Black Vault got some paper in the mail that got a meeting. He didn't get these videos released. I know Jeremy claims, that he got the videos released. Well, it was Chris Mellon and it was Lou Elizondo that got those videos released. Read Lou's book. There were a whole bunch of other videos he could have picked from, but he picked those 3. So throwing the baby out with the bathwater, you don't say, hey, you scored 59 footballs, but you fumbled twice, so you're kicked out. I get it, though. He fucked up pretty big, and he's an intelligent agent for the CIA. He should have known better. Now, did he get ufology canceled? No. No, because the disclosure train is not stopping because of Lou or any one person. It'll just keep going on without him. And there's people all over social media calling out Lou and basically punching down at this point. What I think Lou should do is just go back to what he was doing before the book tour, is just chilling with his wife Jennifer and his kids, and just chilling and let somebody else take point. And then when the time's right, maybe a year or so from now, come out and with some new material or something. and don't fuck that up. But I think if Lou fucks up one more time in front of the public at a high profile meeting, he will have no choice that everybody is going to just cancel him. And even the people who were his biggest supporters are going to say, I can't do this anymore. Then, it's got to stop. Somebody else has to take place. It's time maybe to pass the baton onto the guy coming up behind him, David Grush. So it's good that David Grush is in Congress pointing people out. I have no faith at all that this will come to any fruition. It's cool that it is very popular now. There's so many podcasters. There's people that just show up that you never heard of. They got 200,000 subscribers. Who the fuck is this guy? Where did he come from? But the disclosure shits just coming left and right. It's going to go on with or without Lou at all. So even if he held up that photo of the irrigation farming, they ain't going to stop this anymore. Now I still don't think much will come out of this because that has to go straight up to the president of the United States. The last president, Biden, didn't do jack shit for ufology. Nothing, nada. I mean, he was barely there at all. Let's face it. But his handlers, whoever his people are around him, they didn't do shit. Susan Go, she's got to go. How come she hasn't been fired? How come, we had Doge come in and clean house? They didn't touch the Pentagon. They fired all these federal workers, but they did not go after all these government contracts with Lockheed, Northrop, none of that. Susan Go still has her job. She's probably got a nice pension coming. So as long as she's in place, we're probably not going to get too far as on the federal side with this. And it's all up to, Trump, the orange guy. And if it doesn't make him money, he's not interested in it. So let's just face it. There's no disclosure coming during the Trump presidency at all. It's great that some of his advisors are in on it, but they are anti-government people. That's why. Where's Mark Rubio in all this? Mark Rubio is now in a position to come out in front of the camera because he should be read in on at this point with all this and kick a can of worms. What they could do is kick the can of worms, say, now under you, Trump, what do you say? But Mark's not saying shit at this point. I guess more interested in other things. So I don't see anything coming with them. Now, interesting thing, I think it was Tim Gaudette said that why can't we declassify these range videos? And he's got a really good point here. He's really got them. Let's say we have Barry Goldwater Air Force Gunnery Range here, right? All the videos that they have FLIR that were shot from F-35s, F-16s, why can't they release that that gun camera footage? It's not that they can't give the excuse, but hey, we can't let China know we're spying on them, or fuck, we're spying on everybody, or Israel we're spying on them, or Russia we're spying on them. Well, it's a gunnery range. You can't use that excuse there. You can't use really means and methods because we all know pretty much what those little things are on your footage. And that brings us to the next piece of video here. We have new FLIR footage that's 8 minutes long. Let's take a look at this because there's no audio for this, so I'm going to give commentary, and we can learn quite a bit from this. Yeah, Lou can talk a lot and not say anything, and that's what Matt Brown did too. They're real good at dancing around issues. What's interesting is when you look at Rick Doty speak, he doesn't even try to be careful at all. He spills if he's telling the truth. And that's a big if. He's spilling out national security stuff left and right. How come he doesn't get arrested? Because one, he's full of shit. Or two, I don't know. I don't know what two is for that guy. I don't know. I don't have time to watch other people's podcasts. The one I really want to watch is the Joe Rogan one. What the freaking scientist name? My guy, Pudok, whatever. That guy. I haven't even had time to watch that. But yeah, Fessler's pretty pro Lou. But yeah, I mean, you have to admit, when you fucked up. Lou admitted he fucked up. So I admit when I fucked up. Just probably every 6 or 7 minutes on something around here. Let's look at this new flare footage. There's some stuff to learn off this. And that's not the new flare footage. Damn it. That's radar. All right, so let's try it again. All right, so this video was released, I believe it's on the Arrow website. This is flare footage, like the purple or pink heads up indicator. Now, they have masking on the lower left, the lower right, the center, the left, center, the upper top, left and right. So what they're doing is they're masking the time and date. They're masking the GPS position, probably where this was filmed. In the center, where it's black, my guess is they're probably masking. There's no UFO yet; it'll be coming. They're masking probably how far away is the object. This is what we're looking at is a very advanced version of UFOlab, and I'll explain that in a second when the UAP comes in. Okay, the UAP comes in, and as you see, it flew right through the center. That means something. It wanted to be seen because it flew through the center. It didn't float through the side. At this point, the camera operator has taken notice. Note, it was not automatically locked on by target acquisition lock. They are trying, but it's not working. So what he's doing, and this is all speculation here, is he's trying to get it in the crosshair of the purple so automatic target lock can get the object. What we're looking at is a small object. It is not very big. It's not a grocery bag. I can tell you that. The object is, it looks like they have a north indicator on here. That's the only thing that they're not masking. It's ridiculous that they're masking this stuff at all. Because let me tell you something. A person from China, Russia, any country can go join the U.S. military and get one of these jobs. And then he can just tell his mother country how it all works. This is ridiculous. The only people that don't know how this works are the American people that pay for all this shit. But if you think for a moment that China or Russia does not know what's behind these mass heads-up display, you're being fooled. So what they're trying to do is to get this UAP in target lock. So it looks like it's going left and right. It's not. This thing is moving. Basically, let's call this go fast. This thing is heading in the same direction. And it's going at pretty good speed. Now, look, they are trying to get target lock. They're failing. So they're trying to get it in the purple area and then hope that the camera can gain lock. This is what the go fast did when the guy, he boxed the moving target. Well, eventually they do. They do get it. And if you're looking, I have no idea how fast this is going. But this is basically go fast, right? And look, this could be that it's scrambling a target lock. We don't know because we don't have any more information on this other than it was shot in Asia, I believe, in 2023. Tim Gaudette said that there are literally hundreds, thousands of these videos that are sitting around that could be released. Now they have successfully got target locked. So what we have learned that this system is basically an advanced version of UFOlab. It did not automatically get target lock. They now have target lock on it. Now that they have target lock, they can flip through the cameras and try and get a better view. There, they flip cameras right there. And for some reason, they're blacking out what is next to the UAP. That's probably the distance away from the camera, something related to target lock. The best imagery of this object is going to happen in a moment right here. I'm freezing the video, and you could see whatever this is. There's a very, very tiny white. I don't know what the word for it is. Top section on that. We'll keep playing it, but you can see briefly. There's the gimbal video had kind of like one of those too. Um, so it's interesting what this is. Here's a. I guess there's three zoom modes. I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing that thing stick up right now. It looks like actually it's flying sideways. So it's hard to say because we don't know how far away this is. This could be a large object that's 20 miles out. This could be the gimbal video that turns sideways. This is my analysis of it. Um, but we can't tell. There's not really not enough data on this object to see what it is. In FLIR, what we have is a blob. If this was a regular aircraft, you would see the outline of a helicopter or a plane, and you would see the heat exhaust. So it looked like they're using white hot as their thermal filter. Otherwise, we would see black. And they do have a pretty good target lock on this at this point. So this is here we have UAP over China. So what does that mean? It means whatever the capture method for this was, is we're flying them over China and they don't know. This is not a satellite capture. This is probably from a Reaper, or something that's even beyond that. Could be from an unannounced, classified, unmanned vehicle collection platform. We could have a stealth U.S. Air Force asset that's flying over China, and they don't even know. And that's why they don't want to tell us that, hey, we're collecting UAPs over China that China doesn't even know about. Think of that. And they'd be like, oh, shit. Because they're running fucking balloons over us, right? And we're running whatever this is. And if this was a balloon capture like China has, I think this thing would have flown past it by now. Maybe there's rumors that what's flying over New Jersey are Chinese UAP that come out of the water that are flying around, and we have our UAPs flying over them and their UAPs flying over us. Don't even know. Don't even know what the hell is going on with this. But the object is getting fainter and fainter. Have you guys seen this? Is this new to the audience, or have you guys seen this shit? So this thing is out now. Why did they have to black out every single damn thing? I mean, I remember just 4 years ago, the shapes were classified. Even it was like they would classify the box of Lucky Charms, blue clovers, purple horseshoes. I mean, all the things in the Lucky Charm box, those are UAP shapes. It's been sitting in front of us the whole time while we were kids eating cereal. So this video got a few seconds left, but that's pretty much it. That is a new FLIR UAP video drop. It's just mind blowing. Think about it. There's hundreds of these videos, easily hundreds. Now I'm going to go out on a limb here. I would say 10,000. There are 10,000 of these videos that go all the way back. Now remember, Lou in his book, he mentioned that he wanted to see some of these old school videos, but as soon as he got his clearance, he didn't say, "Can I see the Roswell files?" He waited for a while. There's thousands of these videos. There's the Phoenix Lights video. There is it the Robert Hastings rocket launch where the UFO flew around, shot down 4 or 5 lasers, and blew up that rocket. So we go from the old days of film, of 8 millimeter film, The UFO landing at Holloman Air Force Base, whatever was shot of that, probably 16 millimeter film from experiments. Then we have all the nuclear bomb explosions. There was one that came out, it was on Jesse Michael's podcast with Halgren, and there was a Operation Gillfish. When that nuclear test was there, they blew a UFO out of the sky. So we have film from that. And then we have when they went into color. And then we have confiscations. We have the Phoenix Lights video that Richard Curtis shot from a nice view of a hotel here in Phoenix. And the FBI posing as Menace Black took that video. So 10 of thousands of these videos, easy. We could have UFO flicks instead of Netflix. We could have UFO flicks where every day there's different stuff historically that they could uncover. We paid for this shit. That national debt that we owe trillions of dollars. I mean, do you think that all went on, marine boats and aircraft? That went on a lot of black budget stuff. This is such a black hole that in the past the CIA was running drugs because they couldn't get enough taxpayer money that they had drug money to pay for all this shit and all this dirty stuff. So there's thousands of these clips. It must be mind-blowing to get the tickets to read in and see all this and then walk out and pretend they didn't see all that crazy stuff. I mean, it probably make you go insane looking at all this. And we paid for it. And it's all sitting there. And then, to blow your mind a little bit more, how much does China have, right? Maybe not as much as us, but they're playing catch up because they rip off all of our technology. So they have their own classified treasure trove that the Chinese citizens will probably never, ever see. Then we have Russia. We have Putin sitting on his shitty military that sucks. And we all thought, hey, Russians have a military equal to ours, and then Ukraine war happens, and we go, well, shit, that's Benny Hill Russian military. That's a joke. But they probably have their share of UAP crashes, UFO films, FLIR, and whatever else from their collection. So if you have a grand total and you run up the Jerry Lewis telethon music, we probably have between the US, China, and Russian 30, 40, 50,000 of these videos. And then the rabbit hole goes even deeper that apparently another whistleblower from Whistleblower Palooza, we have the guy from NASA, right? So here we have another whistleblower come out the same time as Matt Brown. We have Dr. Gregory Roberts. And I guess he was in the medical area of the UFO. He got to see a disc that said U.S. Air Force on the side of it. And they powered this thing up, and it tilted at 45 degrees or so sideways. So we have some people that say we've had these things and they've went around the solar system with them. So what kind of imagery would they get from that? Close-up pictures of the moon Titan, close-up stuff of Europa, of Saturn, Neptune. I mean, these are crimes against humanity if any of that shit's true. I mean, I could see why these people don't want to come forward because we would have to build a special prison to put them in. I mean, hell, is China? I mean, I think the only reason that the U.S. government would ever come clean is to get in front of this before China comes clean first, or Russia says, "Hey, we have this." The stuff with 2027 is probably more bullshit put out there. Now, on top of that, whistleblower Ross Coulthart has a special coming out on Saturday on News Nation of an Arizona Border Patrol person who came forward, and apparently we're going to see some more footage like this of Arizona UAPs down by the border. Now, I was down there about 2-3 weeks ago, skywatching over off Highway 8, just north of the Barry Goldwater Gunnery Range, because that's where UAPs go. They go where the military is. Now, what do they? I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, this whistleblower uh, comes forward with some good footage, because the border uh, now under Trump has a lot more military activity down there. I'm hoping that this guy does not come forward with footage like we saw a couple weeks ago of a yellow orb and a helicopter behind it, and it turns out that that yellow orb was just a helicopter with its running lights off, and the guy behind it was running night vision. He didn't want to get blinded. Let's hope it's not a screw up, that he doesn't pull. Fuck, now Lou's gonna. He doesn't pull a Lou and come out with some um, boulder dash that later gets debunked. I hope whatever comes out stands up, but 98% of the stuff comes out gets knocked down. Gets knocked down as bullshit. So let's see. I guess the guy's coming out with his name and his face. I haven't had time to look at. I'll be at when this comes out. I'll be down to Tucson bullshitting with people from MUFON. I'll check that out when I get back. Probably go over it in next week's podcast. Then we had another guy come out and anonymous and say came out with a Bass image, and David H. Altman says his guy that works for Bigelow or Bass says that's bullshit. So this guy comes out and anonymous, and he throws Jay Stratton under the bus. Jay Stratton's a horrible person, and then he names a few other people to look into and leaves a few other breadcrumbs. I don't know if this is a troll 4chan deal. Nobody knows. It could be the intelligence agencies coming out. Lou has been one thing he's been accused of is controlled information leaking. That this whole UFO cover up is going to unwind, and it's too far out of the government's control. They have control of these 10,000 images, but they got too many millennials that they hired that don't give. They ran out of fucks. They're coming forward and they're going to tell us what they think is going on. And they were saying that Lou is there. That if the information is coming out too fast, that he could slow it down by going, "Well, look, see this image," and it gets debunked, and it shits on the disclosure thing. And they said next week's hearing has been postponed. Well, big deal. There'll be another one. There's always going to be another congressional hearing. Lou cannot stop this if he wanted to. So what happens is he personally takes the hit. That's got to hurt. That's got to personally hurt anybody to go forward and then make a fool out of yourself, and then have this being brought up over and over and over. It's like having a nagging ex-wife. Well, Lua now has 100,000 online anonymous nagging ex-wives going, yeah, but what about that irrigation photo? No matter what Lou does, Lou can wheel out a fucking dead body, cryogenic from Roswell, and they're going to say, but what about that irrigation photo? So he fucked up. He's wrong. Everybody who's been in this field for a very long time gets involved with some cases that fall apart underneath it. And Jaime Maussan. Jaime Maussan's another one. This guy has been around so long that he's touched so many of the high-profile cases that, some of them are going to fall apart by design. Some of them are hoaxes. Some of them are intelligence things. Linda Moulton Howe, she's been involved with cases that fall apart. Jeremy Corbell, the 29 Palms case, that was flares. I saw that. I immediately knew it was flares. But does he go into hiding? Fuck no. He goes through his laptop with all those videos he has, and he figures out when he'll strategically release another one. Every single person has something like this happen. But Lou, they're going for a hard cancel. Ancient Aliens. You watch that. Every few minutes is horse shit flying out, and the guy goes, Ancient Aliens theorists say yes. Contact in the desert. You go to that, people are going to say a whole bunch of stuff that isn't going to be true. Are they going to get canceled? No. So it's very strange that there's very hard cancel on Lou. And yes, he was out of an event. He should have known better. But I'm trying to illustrate a point here that this happens to all high-profile ufologists. Mick West, look how many times he's wrong. Look how many times he put out an explanation for the gimbal, and he's wrong. Now, do they come after him saying, you never ever show your face in public again? But see, these people have no shame, where Lou has some integrity, you know? So I kind of feel bad for him. I don't know if he intentionally or unwittingly did this and fucked up. But uh, I still, I don't know the guy, but I still think he's an asset. He fucked up. He fucked up. It happens. Um, so yeah, that's part of what's going on with all these whistleblowers, which kind of spills into the news. There's crazy amounts of news. Like I said, there's a whistleblower coming out with Ross tomorrow, and then we have that sphere uh, that came out, and the jellyfish video just came out. So, 14-minute video of the jellyfish came out. I think it was from an Arrow website, and not from Jeremy Corbell. Now, Jeremy Corbell, and I've said this before, I don't want to keep repeating, but he did a shit release on, well, most of his videos. He doesn't release the video in its entirety. He releases the video, and then he films the screen sideways, and then we're supposed to study that with watermarks and shit. Just release the video as you got it. That looks like how Arrow did their release, so there's a release on that. I've been running that thing through Topaz 4K, trying to clean it up. One of the AI models I went through did a really, really great job cleaning up the entire background of it. Did a bad job, though, on the jellyfish. So I'm running different AI models now just on that jellyfish, trying to get out as many details as I can. There's a portion of the video where the appendages hanging down have three, I call it legs, and one leg kind of shifts from the middle over to the side. They're trying to make out some details from that. When that's done, I'm going to upload it on the channel, and you guys can take a look at it. But I also heard there's a 17-minute video of that. Corbell's source that leaked it to him said the entire video shows the jellyfish go into some type of water. Later, it comes out of the water, and then it shoots up in the sky. But apparently, that full video did not. That did not come out. Rick Doty's an interesting guy. He's a nice, friendly guy. It's hard to hate that guy. He's very, very nice. But I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. I can't tell until he talks about the Phoenix Flights. Then he says, "Oh yeah, the 10 p.m. was a diversion." Gotcha. You're full of shit. It wasn't a diversion. Cover that over and over. We were invited to film. So let's get into what's going on with the sphere. Yeah, we'll see you later, Truth Seeker. So on March 2nd, there was a sphere that was captured in Mexico, and then it crashed or fell. It was picked up, and then it's currently being analyzed by Jaime Maussan. You know, so we're gonna show that video. They X-rayed the sphere, and to put your bets, 98% probably bullshit. But let's talk about that. Let's look at the sphere video for it. Now, what we're going to look at next is a compilation of sphere videos starting from the early 90s. And these aren't in chronological order, but they're going to be labeled. And what's interesting is in the 90s, one of the first videos of a sphere is it's going up and down like this. And it looks like it's somehow it's hanging. It's in the daytime. It's shot between some trees, and most people are sitting in their head going, "It's probably on a fishing pole." And how does this work? But as time went on, more videos of the sphere come out, and they do go up and down. So we're thinking, so maybe that '90s one wasn't bullshit after all. Check them out.
О, о, вот она. Вот
So
она,
this is the 1990s one that was
появилась.
here. This is a bad copy of it, but you'll see it kind of bouncing up and down.
Вот она висит.
This video was stabilized by people, and it just brings out the bouncing a lot.
Уже где-то, уже несколько секунд она висит. Вот максимальное увеличение. Что же это? О! О!
This is probably one of the first known ones. There it's bouncing up and down really hard.
Что же это?
And it
Попробуй
looks
подойти
foamy.
поближе.
I mean, it doesn't
Так, толку
look
мало.
legit.
Летит. Висит.
And, you know, this easy
Пошатывается.
to debunk.
Почему она
That
пошатывается?
as you keep
Что это?
watching
Вот
this,
буквально
you
над
might
тем
kind of go, wait a minute,
оврагом.
maybe this was a real video after all.
Вот максимальное увеличение.
Maybe we have a history in UFOlogy of a lot of
Что
videos
же
that
это
were
может
real
быть?
that were dismissed. And the more we get to see what real UAPs
О,
look
опять
like,
движется.
the more we can go back and go, okay, this one wasn't bullshit, this was real.
Что же это может быть? О. Так. Снова. Снова висит.
And 2016. Notice it going up and down just like the Russian. Mexico 2009.
Y agarré la cámara y grabé así. De repente empecé a ver que se acercaba y le iba a acercar la toma, pero mejor la dejé así abierta.
Notice how it
Y ya
kind of goes up
empezó
and
a hacer
down.
unas evoluciones que para mí son inteligentes. Hasta
Unstable.
que se metió, no, yo nomás estaba grabando ahí y bueno, ya no lo cerré la toma, la dejé un poco abierta para que se viera un poco más de puntos de referencia, ¿no? Lo que he aprendido en los videos. Sí, pues yo estaba emocionado, nomás el que estaba aquí en la casa era mi papá y él estaba viendo el avistamiento conmigo.
And since when do balloons have friends that hang out together?
Una de las más importantes en nuestro país en los últimos tiempos. La grabación es única en su tipo y muestra los movimientos de artefactos que desafían a nuestra comprensión. Observe nuevamente el desplazamiento del ovni.
This is a ranger video from a park ranger that set up two different cameras and he filmed whatever this is. It's a surveillance video, so there's no audio. Let me know if you've seen this video before. Leave your comments after the show or whatever, what you thought about all this. Which one? See that flash? This one has a light going on. Now, of course, the geniuses on Reddit debunked it. They debunk and take a shit on everything. So they're a good resource to extract a few videos, but as far as an opinion, that's the worst place to get one. There's a few more of these videos if you dig into them from this ranger guy. And on Reddit, they think this is a drone flying around. But these predate drones. The one from Russia bobbing up and down, that wasn't a drone. Each of these have to be judged individually based upon the cases that they are. But if they do pass a judgment that this isn't a hoax, we don't know what this is, then collectively they start adding up. That now, as we've collected, you know, the U.S. military has thousands of these videos, but the public just has what we can get our hands on here. That we can start analyzing how they fly. and find patterns. I may be one of the first persons to use Keanovia to start finding flight patterns of these things. I have no idea why this guy set this up to watch this, but nobody knows who shot this. It's like whatever this is, it's at a distance. Those lights dotting like that is usually consistent with aircraft dropping anti-missile flares behind it. Of course, the San Diego 2014 Spear. Three type of little appendages sticking out of this with little black windows going around, or whatever you want to call them, portals, deals. Then there's the bet sphere. This was captured on a P1000 camera. I'm trying to remember, this was filmed, I think, in Texas. This UFO was summoned in using apparently psionics. So you would think that Jake and his crew would be able to get video of this caliber if they could summon something, because this person apparently did using, trying to remember, it might be Stephen Greer's protocol. I need to get ChatGPT to tell me how to summon these things. I'm interested in it. I mean, what the hell? Give it a shot. You have nothing to lose, right? He also shot it with a P1000 and his iPhone at the same time. This was posted on Reddit a few months ago. I'm not. Apparently has quite a bit of footage. There's not really much resolution you can get out of what looks like a steel ball bearing. And then, of course, there's the muzzle or that came out, and they said that was a balloon, but was it? How do we know it wasn't one of these?
Carajos. Y un globo no es. Eso se ve como algo extraño. Sí. No, es súper rápido. Una pelota no es, ni un globo. Un globo no es. Eso es otra cosa. Nos estamos acercando. Mira cómo alumbra de varios colores, eso es como metálico, ¿cierto? Mira, mira cómo se mueve a mera velocidad.
So there you have a whole bunch of different sphere videos. And the first one, yeah, pretty iffy with that Russian one. That predates any type of drone. And then as the videos go on, shot by other people, there's a pattern there where they do have this unstable gravity. I've heard that before, that they ride a gravity wave. And the wave goes like this. And once they lock on the wave can make them go up or down. When they choose to go left, right, or this direction, you will see it as apparent. But when they try to take a hover, it will go up and down like this because they're riding a gravity wave. Now, some of this is seen in the Billy Meyer films of some of those beam ships or whatever he has. Some of them look like they're just dangled on a string. Some of them kind of do that up and down movement. So even if it's not a sphere, to be technical on this as a UAP scientist, now when you watch other UAP videos, if they're not spheres, whatever they are, see if they're doing that kind of up and down, unstable, wobble type of thing. That's very interesting. There's a lot of news coming out, so much that this is no longer a drip thing that we had in the 2000s where there was pretty much nothing happened. I took a great time to take a hiatus out of this entire thing during that period because there wasn't really shit going on. Now things are happening left and right. Um, to, to think what the hell's going to come out next. We're going to have Matt Brown come out and tell us more stuff he saw and reported. I don't think he's going to drop too many bombs that we know of here. And then we have more footage coming out, hopefully from this Border Patrol guy. And God knows what else is out from these whistleblowers that are out there. Or if we can hopefully get some of these videos released, that the thousands and thousands of videos that the Pentagon is sitting on. That's what Representative Luna should focus on, is small battles. Win it one time, step at a time, through incrementalism. Don't go too big and then try and get Trump to come out and say, with a huge announcement, all this stuff. Try and get more of these videos out. Let's try and get the full gimbal video with the other objects in formation so we can shove that in Mick West's face, going, see, they're not glare or balloons. Let's get that out there. The Go Fast video apparently does a 90-degree turn if we got to see more than 30 seconds of it. Let's see some of these other videos out there. The news loves running these stuff, whether it's local or national. They need something visual to show. So if we can get more of these FLIR videos out there, more range videos unlocked, great. But until then, it's up to us to collect our own data ourselves and release it in a good, timely manner, that we study it, because they can't control this. I mean, the only thing they can control is whether I got a license to run that radar legally or not. But they can't stop my finger from hitting the button if I see a UAP in the sky and collecting it. Or let's say the guy down the street collected it, not me. So what do you guys think? It's been an interesting show here. Let's wrap up. So let's see what this is a current view from the radar view. This is up about 30 something feet. I can jack it up a bit higher. Just don't got the kahunas right now to do it. I'm going to do it in small steps. I'm just worried about a little bit of that last section that's kind of busted. Haven't messed with the trail camera yet. UFOdap needs some adjustment. I was messing around with that. Flight radar, always have that running as a tool in your toolbox. Again, I will. If you're joining in late, I will be in Tucson tomorrow at the Tucson Library. Nick Pope is speaking at uh, the MUFON deal there, and this is another 4K camera view of the mast. And it's funny. Is it nighttime already? Oh shit, it is. Yeah, let's take a little look around here. So I now got have 3 dome cameras operating. Let's see, how many cameras do I have on this thing? Let's just take a look here. I'm trying to do a count here and see. One, well, that one's in the wrong spot. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Count up these cameras. And then on this one, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't really count that bird camera because I don't think a UIP is going to fly by the bird. 11, 12, 12 with the sky view. So there's at least 12 4K cameras, and then the trail camera if I ever get that shit running. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Um, Hey Dave, if you want to go, I got a van. I'm driving down there. I'm driving to Tucson in a van, so there's extra seats if you want to come over. The boat leaves at 10 a.m. So I got donuts, free donuts, all you can eat. Yeah, MJS daylight in binoculars. Good, good. Hopefully, you try to capture those if you can. Saucers, triangles. Yeah, I mean, they're all the shapes of Lucky Charms, pretty much. The shapes of Lucky there. Maybe we'll see something when I go down to Tucson. Come on. You never know what's going to hit the news. There's so much stuff happening. There's no UAP uh, meeting next week. But then again, um, just I don't put any hope on Congress really doing stuff. It's nice if we get stuff like that arrow video that I showed you. What did we learn from that? Well, they're chicken shit of showing us the heads up display, right? Now you can see that. Watch the Border Patrol video that's going to come out. Ross Coulthart. All the symbols are there. Dave Foch, he's a FLIR technician, and he fixes these FLIR pods that go on U.S. Military assets, and he shows all this stuff. So it's like the cat's out of the bag. You can mask those symbols. We know what they are. All they're doing is just masking, like, if that was shot over China, where? It's not like that whatever collection platform that's flying over China is still in the same spot. That's in a different spot in China collecting something else. And China has their shit over here. That's one thing that our government doesn't like to tell people. That right now, your taxpayer money is spying on hundreds of different locations in China, hundreds of different locations in Russia. We're spying on our own allies in Britain, in Israel, in Australia, in all those places, right? We can afford, and they're doing it to us. Over our head, we might see something up there going, hey, is that UAP? No, it's China spying on us, or Russia, if they can afford it. But so we have all this money for that stuff, but then we go, hey, I'm sick. The healthcare system's fucked. I can't afford that. Can't afford that. But we have all this other. We can take your money and throw it on junk in other countries. We just can't help you at all. Fucking shapes. Yeah, it sucks. You got to work. Well, we all got bills to pay. Oh, look at that nice rainbow from some neighbor's house. All right, so we now have this radar pull and other new assets on 4K Skywatching podcast. I'm going to get in the process of getting the whole thing with the FAA legalized. Hopefully, it's real easy. I got a pass to the Barry Goldwater Gunnery Range. It's free. Uh, don't know if I'll be going down there too often. The next thing is to get this trail camera up and running. Um, so we'll have more news on how that works. I'm going to have the Mint Mobile hopefully hooked up. Hopefully this thing running more reliable than what it farted out on me. So we had a pretty good show here. Just one audio fuck up tonight. I'm Tom King. This is 4K Skywatching. Thanks for being here, Mr. Tube. Thanks for being here, Uncle Dave. Need to take you out to lunch sometime. True Seeker was here. He had to run. Hubert was here. We had Cheeky Bastard was here. Dan was here. Hey, Dan, thanks for calling me that I had the audio off. My wife was watching. It's cyber people and other lurkers. If you like this, if you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down, complain. I don't delete comments. I believe in free speech. If you don't believe in the speech of people you disagree with, then you don't believe in free speech at all. So if you don't like what I'm doing, you can bitch. Don't troll too bad. There's going to be another show next week, probably on the trail camera and whatever else comes up. Great video. Yeah, well, we'll see you. There's always video on this channel, whether I shoot it or somebody else shoots it. Need to get Chris on here. Chris is busy on Friday nights. He has stuff going on while I'm doing this. I'll arrange to get hold of Chris and do a sit down with him either here or at his place. I got some stuff to hook up at his place, but I'm going to get him on here. He's got some, I showed you some of his real good video. Remember on Apple TV, Aliens Uncovered. That's the title. Observe and report. That's what we do. Observe it, and we report it. Part two is part one just came out. Part two is in the process of coming out. I don't know if we're going to shoot a part three. Probably because Chris has one of those videos of the blue thing hovering in the sky and then shooting into the ground. I haven't showed you this video yet. Shot it about a month ago. That shows that whatever these are, they're not camping lights, or at least that wasn't. I don't know if it's a drone. We don't know what the hell those blue orbs are, but they're very active up in the Scottsdale Carefree area. So if you're up there and you happen to be in Phoenix and you live up there, be on the lookout. There's a lot of stuff up there. And then he also shot a video. I looked at it, and it was either the flying humanoid again from 3 days ago, or it was balloons. There wasn't enough information to make out, but Chris got a video or some photos of what looks like the Black Cross. Not good when that thing's flying around. When I saw it, a family member died that day. You don't want to be videoing that thing. All right, you got your wrench. All right, you can drop some videos in here. So we'll see you guys next week. Baby. We'll see you guys next week on 4K Skywatching. I'm Tom King. I'm out of here.